All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about the future of national security, but it's not what you think. It's not about bigger tanks or faster jets. It's about data, infrastructure, and a concept that is quickly becoming a top priority for any modern nation: sovereign AI. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. This isn't some prediction about the future. It's a statement of fact, coming straight from the front lines of today's conflicts. AI isn't science fiction anymore. It is a fundamental, boots-on-the-ground reality. So, to really get this, we've got to reframe how we think about AI. It's not just another gadget in the toolbox. We need to think of it as the brand new operating system for the entire modern battlefield. It's the underlying code that determines speed, intelligence, and who has the upper hand. And look, this isn't some abstract idea. It's happening right now. In Ukraine, AI is sifting through drone footage in seconds to find and target enemy positions. In the South China Sea, it's analyzing ship movements to predict where things might get heated. And maybe most importantly, it's being used in the cognitive domain, the battle for hearts and minds, spotting deepfakes and shutting down propaganda campaigns in real time. So yeah, governments are absolutely paying attention. The UK's upcoming defense review makes it totally clear that trusted and secure digital infrastructure is a top priority. They get it. But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive problem. The AI systems we've all been building for the commercial world, they just aren't built for war. And that brings us to the core issue here, what's called the deployment problem. Basically, the AI we use every day, the kind built for a peaceful, connected world, it completely falls apart when you throw it into the chaos of a real conflict zone. I mean, the difference is just night and day. Commercial AI assumes it'll always have a great internet connection, perfect data, and access to giant cloud servers. The military reality? It's an environment that's often disconnected, degraded, or outright denied, the D3 conditions. It's like your phone's map app dying the second you lose signal in an emergency, right when you need it most. The data is messy, and systems have to work at the edge, on a ship, in a vehicle, totally on their own. You can't depend on global infrastructure when you need total national control. So, trying to use these commercial systems creates some frankly unacceptable risks. That foreign infrastructure you rely on, it can be shut off by another government in a heartbeat. A lot of commercial AI models are black boxes. You can't actually see how they're making decisions, and that raises huge ethical red flags. When we're talking about life or death decisions, you absolutely have to have systems that are accountable, auditable, and completely under your own nation's control. So, what's the answer? If the off-the-shelf stuff just won't cut it, you have to build something new. And that brings us to the sovereign solution, a totally new kind of AI infrastructure, designed from the ground up for this very harsh reality. Sovereign AI infrastructure is exactly what it sounds like. It's a system that's controlled by your nation, is totally secure, and is built to be deployed absolutely anywhere, from a headquarters to the front line. And the most important part? It is completely independent of foreign companies and governments. It gives a nation total command of its own capabilities. This whole new approach is really built on three core ideas. First, it's got to be modular and ready for the edge so it can work when it's offline. Second, it has to be secure and auditable right from the start so you can trace every single decision. And finally, it has to be governed nationally, making sure it follows a country's own laws and ethics. It's all about building trust directly into the code. Okay, so that's the what. But what does this actually do, in the real world? Let's take a look at how sovereign AI gets put to work right there on the front line. The applications are honestly game-changing. We're talking about faster, more precise ISR, that's intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, but where all the data and the code are under your control. It helps commanders optimize command and control, or C2, helping with logistics and risk assessment even when they're totally off the grid. It gives them the firepower to fight back against disinformation online, and it makes sure autonomous things like drones are running on trusted code that can be updated in minutes, not months. So what's the bottom line here? What this all does is create a trusted digital perimeter. It gets rid of that dangerous reliance on outside companies, and it closes all those blind spots that come with using commercial black box tech. It's really about knowing your systems inside and out, period. All right, let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about one cool piece of technology. This is about a global strategic competition. The stakes for national sovereignty couldn't be higher. And that's because our adversaries are not just sitting around waiting. China has woven AI directly into its national strategy. Russia is constantly innovating in electronic warfare and automated propaganda. And other players like Iran and North Korea are using AI to launch asymmetric cyber attacks. Falling behind is simply not an option. Now, the strategic goal here is a bit nuanced, but it's absolutely critical. Nations need to be able to work with their allies, of course, but they can't afford to be dependent on them. The goal is to be interoperable without being dependent. You want to be a great partner, but you always have to be in the driver's seat of your own technology. So when you strip away all the technical jargon and the high-level strategy, it all comes down to one simple, powerful idea: trust. In this new era of conflict, having absolute trust in your own systems is the very foundation of modern national defense. So as we wrap this up, I'll leave you with this thought to chew on. Artificial intelligence is fundamentally rewriting the rules of war. And in this new world, the single most important question a nation can ask itself is this: who controls the code?